Okay, great. Well, thank you all for joining. This is Joey Marzelli, co-founder at Boomtown, and really excited to see how many people are attending today, just how much interest we've had in our channel. Speaking with Poynt directly, our channel has been one of the more prominent sales channels, so that's been pretty amazing to see of how many terminals we're selling a month together. And obviously, we want to make sure that you guys know that we're here to empower you and provide you with as many resources as possible. With any new technology, there's going to be a few hurdles and bumps in the beginning, so we do appreciate the patience as we are helping and supporting your merchants with a few issues, but overall it's been a great experience and very happy to see how much this channel has accelerated. Again, this webinar right here, this is for new features, new third-party applications, and kind of updates on Poynt. So if you do need a training for your team, reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com. We can go over the whole Poynt experience, competitive nature, how to sell it in the marketplace. Very happy to help out. So again, just reach out to pointsales@goboomtown.com and we will set up trainings with you and your team. Here's a quick agenda for today. I do have a really cool update on the new invoicing feature in the pilot that I'm going to expose this channel to. And we'll go over that here in a moment. And then we have Gerald from talech who's joining us to go over the new fully integrated POS system. We've known talech as a semi-integrated solution. They now have a really neat POS product that I've been playing with on my desk all week. So excited to kind of see that in motion. And then for most of you who are already familiar with the third-party apps, feel free to jump off. But I'm going to go through every single third-party app, try to keep it pretty short, but just more of a great overview and update on how to sell it, what's the cost, how it's positioned in the market, especially with Poynt merchants. And then, of course, I'm available for questions. But during this whole session, I have actually Caitlin on my team who will be answering questions. So feel free to write in. If we do miss your question, we will answer it after the seminar. And then one last thing is the Poynt Sales Hub. So every time that we do this sales webinar, we always post the video recording in our Sales Hub with the deck. We also have additional marketing material, one-pagers on the third-party applications, contact information, a bunch of stuff that you can obviously get exposure to all through the Poynt Sales Hub. So let's go over this new feature that's actually pretty awesome. Poynt Invoicing, right? So we've seen competitively in the market that invoicing is a huge, has a lot of advantages in the local business space, and that a lot of merchants don't want to, do invoicing away from their current payment processor or their current payment product. So we've found a way to basically build in invoicing into Poynt.net, right? So that's the online version that you can, that all your merchants get free access to. Again, your merchants get free access to Poynt.net, which is online, their desktop, and then Poynt Mobile HQ, which is their mobile application on their iPhone or their Android. But through the Poynt.net on their desktop, they can now actually send invoices. So we're going to go through what that experience looks like. And what you'll see here is there's the sales report. There's actually an invoicing tab. So in customer invoice tab, you would basically just say add invoice. And what you can see here is the status, right? And then the invoice number, which is also super helpful for anyone obviously who's done invoicing or tying it back to their accounting. Once they add the invoice, going to put in the description, the invoice number, notes. It'll automatically create an invoice number. You can obviously change that, and then the email and the amount, right? So you're going to be sending an email with the invoice. And then you'll see the status here being unpaid. So that invoice has now shot out. Obviously, you'll see paid if it's no longer pending and the merchant or the customer has paid. Here is what the Poynt invoice will look like when it hits the customer's email. So you'll have actually the business name, and then you'll have the Pay Now feature, so they can actually go and pay for that invoice right there. Once they're paying for the actual invoice, you'll see that they can actually do a card not present. They can punch in their credit card information, and it'll just confirm the details right here. Once they have paid, they will get you've paid successfully, and this will be really helpful because again, it'll just be more of a confirmation that they have paid the invoice and the invoice is all set up. This should be paid here, sorry, but again, just kind of reiterating that once it is paid, it will go from unpaid to paid. So again, that's pretty straightforward, right? That whole invoicing experience, it shouldn't be too foreign to most of you who have sold MPOS or smart terminals. Just another great feature And again, I think the best part is it's a free feature, right? It's just another value add to Poynt that they're not paying additional for. So here's how the pilot is going to basically work. I need you guys to reach out to me. Just go with emailing joey@goboomtown.com, subject line invoicing pilot submission. And I'm taking about 25 merchants that will just enable this for right away. So try to get this to me by Monday. Start talking to your merchants or merchants who need it. We can turn it on. We might be able to do more than 25, but some really, this is all pretty confidential, but the neatest part about this whole invoicing feature, it's the first phase to customer tabs, auto pay, and subscriptions, which we're also going to basically release here in the next month or two. And what that's going to be is basically, once you've sent an invoice, it'll save the customer information, or vice versa. If the merchant is, using Poynt Terminal on their countertop and a customer comes and swipes their credit card, we can save that customer information and credit card on file. All PCI compliant, all falls in the regulations of EMV. And then what you can do later is you can add, the second phase of that is basically you can charge that merchant whenever you want. If they call in for delivery or if you're online, you can basically just click the customer name, charge it. And then the second phase of that will be automatic, like subscriptions, right? So Joey comes in my salon once a month, and then basically he has a subscription, or a gym has a subscription. So that's all going to be the second and third phase of this feature. But the invoicing we thought would be the one we wanted to take care of right away, and then we'll unleash these other features. So again, if your merchant joins the pilot, they're going to get first access to those features as well. So real simple instructions: email joey@goboomtown.com, invoicing pilot submission in your subject line. I'll add your merchant to the list. Just give me the merchant name, merchant ID, as they are seen in the Poynt channel. And again, let me know if you guys have any questions there. Really excited about these new features. Again, these are all free features, so these are in the generic software of Poynt. You're not paying additional for these. But without further ado, really excited to have Gerald on here today. We have an incredible new POS application, which I've been playing with all week, and it's been pretty phenomenal to see that it's now integrated completely with the talech system. So Gerald, thank you for joining.
Brilliant. Thanks, Joey.
And I'm passing the presenter role over to you right now.
Excellent. And I am now showing just the talech webpage. I'm moving it up and down. Can you see that, Joey?
Yep, you are good to
Excellent.
go.
Great, and good thing that we're actually on this page here. So, as many of you hopefully know, we've been around. Talech's been out and about. We've been adding more features. So many features now that we've actually expanded to a premium version as well as standard version. But one of the things that we're really excited about finally making the move to is over to the Android platform. Right now, as many of you know, there are a gazillion kind of different Android platforms out there. Some of them are just wacky devices out there. So we're not going to be doing stock Android. You cannot go out and just buy a Samsung Galaxy Tab and slap talech on. But what we are doing is that we're working with great partners such as Boomtown and Poynt to specifically target different platforms for our release. The first platform, of course, is going to be the Poynt release. So just to be clear, what we have done is, as many of you know, right, the Apple version is landscape, which means that it looks from left to right, and everything scrolls left to right and everything like that. And what we have not done is just take that app and slap it onto the Android framework. What we have done instead is we've actually gone in, hired a bunch of Android developers, a couple of rock stars, and we've actually gone in and hang on, let me just hide everything else, and built it from scratch. So here you have, and unfortunately, I apologize, I don't have a Poynt frame, I just have a Nexus frame. But here you have a Nexus tablet. I'm going to go ahead and log in. And there you have what will happen on the Poynt device as well, which is that you have a beautiful portrait version. And in addition to that, what we have done is we've basically designed it so it's native to Poynt, to the Android platform. So you'll basically go in here, and as many of you are familiar with, you can go in there and you can tap on different items. You can go back here and go to beers. Right, you can go in and everything like that. Now, what you'll notice, of course, is that there is a difference in the design, which is that you don't have that sort of left window as well. So when you add an item, right, you'll still have the variations and everything like that, but then you'll also be able to go to a separate screen to go ahead and view your order, right? And basically it'll combine all the orders so that you can see, or the items in that order, so that you can generate it up. The design itself is pretty smooth. We've been actually testing it for a couple of weeks now out in the market. So we have, a couple of cafes, and a bunch of, mainly quick serves. This will also be available on the Point 5. So we do have a couple of restaurants that are testing it for tableside ordering and mostly just tableside payout. So that's been working beautifully. The other thing as well that I also want to emphasize is that there is feature parity between the Point version of talech and the iPad version of talech. So theoretically, if you wanted to, you could have a waiter station with an iPad. They're up and running, and they're doing everything there. And then they could have Point devices, either the Point 6, where it has the printer and the front facing screen, or also the Point 5. And just like you can open up an order on any iPad device, if you have an environment where, mainly restaurants, if you have an environment where you have Point devices running around and you have iPad devices running around, all of them will speak to each other, including to all the printers, all the kitchen printers, and everything like that. So we're super excited about this. We are actually going to be releasing this to you guys definitely by the end of the month. We're watching the beta test very, very carefully to make sure it's running smoothly. And yeah, it'll be out there for you guys to be able to use.
Hey Gerald, let's go to the appetizers where you had basically the pictures of each of the items, the products of the items. Are these pictures that you guys have chosen at talech to use? Or are these ones that you can upload as the merchant?
Yeah, that's a great question. So obviously, this is a demo account, and we've made it look as beautiful as you can. Just to be clear, what Joey is saying is that there is a little picture in here that you can put in there. That's something that either we do for our own accounts, but if the customer wants to upload their own pictures, absolutely they can do that. On both the Point device and the iPad, if you wanted to, you could actually just use the camera on there. Or if you also want to if you have like a very, like a beautiful high res picture that your designer has taken, and you want to upload that on the web page, it will also update onto onto the app itself.
Okay, great. And I'm going to quiz you a little on like talech versus obviously the Register app, which is a generic software on Point. One thing I saw when I was playing with it is you can send orders to the kitchen, or you can send them to different printers. Is that correct? Or can you kind of walk me through what that looks like once I put a few things in the queue? If I send them does it all get sent to the kitchen right away, or can I send different orders to the kitchen?
Yeah, and let me actually just switch back over to the iPad version. It's a little easier for me. I'm still getting used to using the Android version. So what Joey is referring to is there are a couple of ways of firing off an order. Let's say I've got an appetizer here, and then I've got some wine, and then I've also got my chicken sandwich. So as if you were just a quick serve, and you would just fire that whole thing off, no problem, right? However, if you were a sit down restaurant or a fine dining restaurant, you have the option to fire off certain items or not. So if I want to go in here and fire off all the items, I can fire those off, or I can choose to fire off only the appetizers or only the sandwiches, right? And then when I'm ready to fire off the rest of the items, I can also do that as well. However, another circumstance that we've also run into is that there are certain restaurants where you want to course the different items. So what you can do in this case is you can say, I want to sort by course. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in here, and I'm going to create a course. Let's call it course 1, or just unassigned. And basically, you can then drag the different items. There we go. You can drag the different items so they come on, drag for me. No, come on, don't be difficult here. So just like you can drag different items, let me try this. There we go. Just like you can drag different items to different seats, you can drag different items to different courses. And then when you want to fire that off, you can fire off the course. So whether or not you have, let's say you have an entree that you want to arrive at an appetizer, or typically it's the opposite. You have an appetizer that you want to receive as an entree. You can course your items to go send those off. So again, right? There's two different notions here. One notion is the printers where everything is set up, right? So let's say we have a Japanese restaurant and I want to fire off my items, my sushi items only to the sushi bar printer, my grill items to the back kitchen, and then my drinks to the bar printer, right? You can certainly do all that. And then second, on top of that, you can also have it set up where, okay, I want my sushi items to even though, they're technically appetizers, I want one set of sushi to show up as my second course. Maybe there's a grill item that I want to show up as an appetizer. You can mix and match all those different considerations. Again, that's intended primarily for sit-down restaurants, but it's the flexibility that we want to provide to our customers.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions about that in the Register app, which obviously in the generic software Poynt cannot do. So it was really neat for me to play with the new talech app on Poynt and notice that I can do that and send things to the kitchen when I want to, or send to the segmented kitchens, obviously depending on the order. So that's really neat. That's a huge value add, guys, right there. That's gonna make this a game changer as you're selling some more sophisticated QSR or even maybe smaller full service restaurants. I think if you have a huge full service restaurant that needs more than 4 tablets, I mean, it's really good to connect with Gerald and talk more about the iPad and the Poynt combo. But the Poynt alone, I think you guys have some really neat features in here that are gonna help. Gerald, one thing I also saw that Poynt does not have, or does not really make easy in the generic software, is a few different things. One, to name the customer, and then the other part is dine in versus takeout. Really associating the orders with the different type of order. So can we kind of go over that, what that looks like, how you can put in the customer name or associate what type of order it is?
Yeah, and thanks, Joey. That's a great point. So one of the things that we have is the notion of a customer and the notion of a table, right? So a customer, if you think about it as a retailer, let's say I'm a retail person, and I want to come in here and I want to look up for Bob Smith or something like that. I can go ahead and look up for that person, either first name, last name, or phone number. Or I can also add that customer name in there as well. When I add that customer name, there's a whole bunch of features that come along with it, including the ability to obviously track their orders. We do have a loyalty program that's built into talech, as well as also a house account. So let's say Joey goes to his golf club, scores a hole in one, wants to buy a run of drinks, right? He can just have everything put onto his house account, and then at some random time later on, he can actually pay out that entire house account. So we can track customers. We can also provide customers more than just a profile to the business itself. We can actually, see who's been coming a lot, who's been spending a lot, and then if you want, we can also trigger different loyalty programs to happen if they visit a bunch of times or spend a certain amount of money. And then secondarily to that, we also have a table number. And this might be a little bit confusing, but what we also have is we have a bunch of quick serves that you walk up and Caitlin wants to get her bagel and coffee and then just walk over to the side. Well, rather than having to add in a customer name to each order, you can just come in here and you can say, this is Caitlin's order. She wanted a burger right there. And then I can go ahead and pay that out. And then so what happens is that when the order comes up, it says that the table is Caitlin. Obviously, that could also be an actual table number, but that way we can also do that. So we have the ability to have a fairly dense, deep customer interaction for those customers that want to do that, especially retailers. And then for those customers that just want a quick way of throwing in the name, or let's say Caitlin, opens up a bar tab, we can also do that as well.
Yeah, this is great. And so, guys, I am getting a lot of questions. Just so you know, this is available on Poynt, and you don't have to get the iPads to use a tile system anymore. You can get the iPads, I think, if you want more of a full table management by actually seeing a layout of the tables. I think that's where using the iPads is a better option. But as Gerald just pulled up here, this is the view from the Poynt terminal. It's just a little different. Again, instead of going left to right, you go top to bottom. So you still have all these same features with the customer name, table number. But just really, really neat, Gerald, because I love that, we can start associating orders with, instead of even putting that table number, we can just put a name in there. And the generic software Register app, it doesn't really let you do that, right? Or you have to put it in the notes, but it's just a little bit more confusing for a QSR restaurant or somebody who is pretty prominent in the area, and they have a fast-paced environment, and they just don't have time to kind of navigate themselves manually through the Poynt generic software. So as you can see on Gerald's screen right here, guys, this is what it looks like. Number of guests. Anything else on this kind of screen, Gerald, you want to call out that makes it really easy, or a little bit more about the customers once you've entered the customers' names, what the loyalty looks like?
Yeah, one other thing that you called out and I didn't call out is that we also have a functionality of order type, right? Now, obviously, the one that everyone thinks about is dine-in, to-go, delivery, and everything like that. But by the way, the Poynt device is also integrated to our online ordering. So if there's an online order, you can fire it off from the Poynt device. Another element that we've also found out is that a bunch of restaurants obviously use, Eat24, Grubhub, all that stuff. And what's painful about using those systems is that the order will come in through an app or an email or even a fax sometimes, but you have to re-enter that into your point of sale system so that it fires it off to the kitchen and everything like that. So what you can do is you can actually add in another order type in talech that is, Grubhub or Eat24 and everything like that. And that way we can track that order. It's, that way you can also see your total number of sales for that day. But because it's split out as a Grubhub order, you're not looking for that money in the till, right? Does that make sense, guys? So you can enter in an order as a dine-in, to delivery, to go, and then you can also use the order type to track the different kind of additional online ordering systems. Obviously, would love it if you use the talech one, and that way you don't have to like do that whole re-enter the order and separate tracking and next day funding or whatever, next month funding. But you can also create different order types beyond dine-in, to go, and delivery so that you can track your online orders. Oop, Joe, are you still there? Did I get cut off?
Nope, you're good. Sorry. So do you guys have an online ordering? Tell me a little bit about that. I know about that, but I don't know exactly what it looks like for the merchant. So can I connect my website to that? Do I basically just have a redirect address that if you go on joescafe.com, it'll basically take me to the talech checkout page?
Yeah,
Okay.
let me go ahead and show that to you guys really quick. So basically, I'm going to use a different account because I have confidence in that account. But basically, just imagine the scenario where a customer has already uploaded their menu into us, and they're merely using us. Basically, what will happen is that talech will go ahead, and since we already have the menu in our system, and just imagine if you're using Eat24 or whatever, you have to load up your menu into your point of sale system, and then you have to load it up again in Eat24. And then every time you change a menu, you have to change it in different places. So in our system, you've already uploaded the menu. And so what will happen is that we will actually go ahead and immediately spin up a web page for you based on that menu, right? So I just clicked on it right there. There's the web page that we generate for the customer. And then everything that's in that menu, including all of the pictures, will automatically get picked up, and as well as obviously also all of the. Here we go. There we go. If I order a mushroom and Swiss, it will also pick up all of the modifiers and everything like that, including we want to force the customer to choose their bun so that we know not to make a wasted bun and stuff like that.
And Gerald, while you're talking, I get getting some more questions on this. Guys, just so you know, again, this is somewhat competitive to Eat24 and those other ones that you guys are asking about. But again, this is a huge value add for your merchant because if they use Poynt, they get the talech app, and they can basically integrate the same menu onto their website. So it'll just be a redirect. They can still use those other ordering ahead applications and other features, but this is really built so their website and their Poynt terminal, they interact with each other. It's the same menu, everything like that.
Exactly. Yeah. So there are three main integration. There are three main key selling points of using us versus somebody else. The first one is price, right? Ours is just a flat $49. We don't. I think Grubhub charges like 30% of gross or something like that. And as well, right? We set up the online mid, and they get next day funding, all the stuff that you guys get, and and they're getting their money. The second one is the integration, and I can't tell you guys how important that part is, right? Which is basically what I'm doing right here is I'm adding in an order. Again, I didn't have to do anything to generate this menu, and if I make a change in my system, it'll automatically get reflected on my web page. Another thing you'll also notice is that I don't know why we have draft beer in here, but we could actually hide different items that you're not allowed to sell, right? So in other words, if I go into talech and I say, you know what, I actually don't want to sell beer and wine because I'm not allowed to, or I can even go into my menu and say, I don't want to sell the T-bone steak or the souffle to online orders because that doesn't make any sense. You can do that as well. But once you do actually execute the order, right? Let me go ahead and do this right now. Right, you can actually have it for dine-in or pickup or delivery. You can add in a tip. I'm going to do pay in store right now, guys, just because I just realized that I don't have this set up. Joey at goboomtown.com. And that is not Joey's number, everybody. But I'm going to go ahead and pay in store. But obviously, you will be able to pay online in this order. I'm going to go ahead and pay in store. And then we've got the online order that's set up. Now, the integration is not just the web page, it's the actual order itself. So what's going to happen now is that talech, and let me go ahead and switch accounts here. I apologize for this. Talech will get that order and it will be delivered directly to the actual app itself. In other words, again, just like I just told you, you don't have to enter in, you don't have to take it from some other device, all that kind of stuff. So in talech, you get an update. There's a little alert. Let me actually show you what it looks like on the outside. You'll actually get an alert. It actually will make a noise so that between 2 and 5 o'clock, when everyone's folding napkins or something or cleaning cutlery, they'll actually get the alert. I can go in here and I can, what is it? There we go. I can go in here. I can go to my orders. Come on. There's my online order. And again, guys, this is the biggest part of the win here, is that you can just click on the order and view the order right then and there. And I know that sounds like a really trivial thing to do, but the number of errors that happen from taking the order and then re-entering into the point of sale system is really just egregious. So in the order, I can go ahead and view the order. I can reject it if we're out of Amish Blue something or Bison Burger. I can accept and hold it because Joey wants to pick that up later on. Or if Joey's like, I want to order right now and walk downstairs and get it, I can fire out that order right then and there. And it behaves just like it was entered in by a waiter, right? It's already connected to the kitchen printers and it just kind of splits out everywhere. The other great thing as well, which Each 24 cannot do, is that once Joey sends the order, once Joey gets the order, once the kitchen, it's fired off to the kitchen, the system will automatically just fire off updates to Joey as that's coming along. And again, right, if you're using an external system like E24 or Grubhub, you can't get that. And then when the order is ready and Joey walks up and says, hey, here's my order, where's my food? Or let's say the order is ready and Joey's nowhere to be found, we can actually say, hey, Joey, the order is ready, come in and get your food. And again, just to be very clear, I apologize that I'm using the iPad. I just haven't played with the Poynt version as much as I'd like to. So I'm a little clumsy there. But basically, all of this is also available on the Poynt device. You don't have to have an iPad. You can do everything right there on the Poynt device. Naturally, what we also see a lot of restaurants is having a combination of both a big widescreen for like waiter stations or bars. But if the pickup station is just running a Poynt device, or you have a 0.5 running around, doing line busting, you can do all that stuff as well.
All right, Gerald. So now Joey has ordered online. Joey Marzelli is in the system. Joey Marzelli calls in for delivery tomorrow. Joey Marzelli comes in next Wednesday. How are we tracking Joey Marzelli? How are we incentivizing him to come back? What are the loyalty features? What are the, with the customer data, how are we using that customer data?
Right. Okay. So on the customer data, we're contemplating. So it's a different matter of making an online order system and everything like that. So, but basically, just so you know, within talech, and this is something that's easier to demonstrate on the web page, in the customer database, we also have. I got booted out. Let me go ahead and sign back in. Sorry about that. We have what's basically a digital punch card, right? Now, to be clear, we have no intentions of becoming, like belly up or level whatever and all that stuff. Like we're just not going to do that, right? If you want a full-fledged loyalty program and everything like that, you should go to those guys and sign up. But within talech, and this is really
Are
basically,
you at least capturing that information? Are you at least capturing
yes,
their phone
yep,
numbers and
we're
emails in
capturing,
an export?
yep,
Okay.
we're capturing all that information. You can export that information and everything like that. But as well, what also happens is that we also have a loyalty program that you can also generate different kinds of different kind of capabilities. So in here, you can, where is it? Here we go. So in the system, you can create a different loyalty program. You can actually, create different values based on the number of visits that come in or the amount of spend that come in. You can reward a dollar amount, a percent off order, and everything like that. And basically, not to spend too much time on here, it's basically a punch card, a digital punch card system that has a little bit more sophistication. But yes, as the orders are coming in, if they fill out the customer name, not the table name, but the customer name, right? They can do that. And as well as when you're also ordering online, we're going to match that to your customer name as well.
Okay, awesome. So this is great, guys. One thing to take into mind, right? Poynt does have loyalty features and marketing, email marketing campaigns and SMS campaigns. I'll actually go over some of those later. But Gerald has kind of mentioned here, there's a great out of the box. People are calling in, people are ordering online. We're capturing that customer data. That is the role of talech in this loyalty game, and that's what they're doing best, right? A lot of customers have to opt in to loyalty programs. With talech, they're already checking out through this software, right? You're already using the software to get them through the the inception point of when they're paying. So that's when you can obviously drive more customer data. So Gerald, let's talk about. So we talked about loyalty. We talked about kind of someone calling in and they're doing takeout or they're ordering online. All those integrations that you've built, which is super helpful. Again, it's such a step up from the register application. And if you're not excited on this call, I don't know, why you're selling Poynt, because this is going to be a game changer that merchants can do this just on the Poynt terminal. But we're looking at the home screen now when I log into talech on Poynt. Tell me a little bit more. Is there anything else that we should kind of go over or talk about here?
Yeah, I mean, I really can't tell you as well. One of the things that we've really focused on is, and again, this is going to sound really, geeky of me, but we really did not approach the Poynt implementation like we're just going to slap the Apple version on here. We've done a lot of capability to make sure it's super smooth. Even the Poynt 5 device, even as small as that, right, has been heavily focused on from the design standpoint. So even though we're chock full of functionality, all of that is very well designed and capable on the Poynt device, even as small as the Poynt 5. And the other thing as well is that your customers now have options, right? They can have a variety of different implementations, either a widescreen, something that sits on the counter, something that the waiters can walk around with. All of those work together. And if you have customers that have an existing Poynt device, we can just add the talech app on there. If you have a customer that has an iPad and a Poynt device, or they have the iPads and they want to add Poynt devices, we can add the Poynt device to that environment, install the app, all the menu just shows up right then and there, and also all of the printers, all the connectivity as well. So there's been a lot of work that's been added on that's focused on Poynt device, but the priority is making sure it's really easy to add into your environment. Or if you're starting up, it's just as easy to add, to introduce that platform into your environment as it is the iPad. Cool. That's it for me. Shall I hand it back over to you, Joey?
Yeah, this is great, man. This is going to be such a game changer. I mean, I love it. It's just going to make, I think everybody, knows that talech on Poynt is going to, it's going to be a square killer. It's going to be, you're going to have the ability to go, sell to more sophisticated merchants with just the Poynt device. And then, of course, again, you guys can use Poynt only and then get an iPad involved. Maybe if there's more full service functionalities that you need, like table management and things that are a little bit more important to you. The one thing that it does have today that we talked about, it does have saved customer data, but it doesn't have, you can't store credit cards right now on the talech system. So just calling that out, that will come with the pre-authorization features that we have coming out here soon with Poynt. But if you are using the full system with the iPad, there is a pre-authorization feature. I know that. Altogether, this is pretty awesome. And any other success stories or anything you want to share with us, Gerald? Like maybe multi-location chains, or I know some pretty prominent restaurants here in San Francisco using it. But anything in that regard you want to share with us?
Not in particular. I mean, there's a couple of large. I guess one of the larger implementations is that we have a university in LA that's using our system. That we called them up, asked them if they wanted to be on the beta. They said sure. We just dumped it on their point devices, and they were happily using it. We just as we expected, we are seeing a lot of implementations solo, but we are seeing cafes that are adding on a point 0.5 and using that to line bust, etc. I will say one thing. It is for those of you who have used other devices from other other Bluetooth, or I'll go ahead and say it, the ICMP and the ICT250 and everything like that. The using the point device as a terminal is far, far, far superior than using the ICMP and the ICT250. So just bear that in mind when you're getting up your next customer.
Yep, guys, and these talech is processor agnostic, so they really work with all the processors. You will own 100% of the processing. But let's talk about, is there pricing out yet for the talech application on Poynt?
It is the same. It's the same. It will be the same as the our decision is absolutely right, which are what you're saying is correct, which is that we want to be agnostic. So the price point for the Poynt app is the same as the price point for the iPad app. So it starts at 69 and 39 for standard, and then 99 and 49 for premium.
Okay, so just real fast, let's go through that real fast. So what's the bottom package, and what does that not include in the bottom packages?
I'm sorry, say it again. What you mean
the smaller packages? So if I do the first tier, what is the price there, and what does that include?
I apologize. Right, Joey, could you hand me back presentation rights just so I can put it up on my page?
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, no problem at all. Let me find you. Okay, you should have the roll now.
Great. So there are 3 tiers of pricing. Right, we do have monthly, and if most of our customers want to get signed up monthly, it is seasonal, so we're about to spin up a bunch of fireworks places for just the months of June and July, and when they go in April to do their taxes, for those fireworks stands that actually do their taxes, but they're only going to pay for it for June and July, and then when they do their taxes, they don't have to pay for the system. They can just do that. So we are seasonal. We do have annual payments if they sign up for an annual package, but in general, we try to approach everything as no contracts, just let's get you started and see how you like the system. The vast majority of our customers are on the standard pricing, right? This is a basic quick serve, maybe a pretty basic no, not just mainly quick serves, and also retailers. The way it works is that we
scroll
charge
down just a little. I think half of it's cut off. Sorry. Yep. There we go. I just want to see a little bit more about the features here.
Yeah, I'm about to get to that in 1 second. So the way it works with talech is, and I think most of you are familiar with that pricing, is that we do $69 a month for the first device, and that's the order station. You could have 25 printers, we don't care. And then if you want to add on, most of our quick serves and retailers just have 1 device. But if you want to have a second device, if you want to line bust in a cafe, or you're such a busy retailer that you need 2 checkout stations, you can add on each device. Again, the additional device is also monthly. So if you want to add it on another station for just the summer months, you can do that. And then, of course, in the premium side, we also have more features. I'll get to that exactly what those are for in a second. But obviously, you pay for a little bit more. It's $99 for the first order station, and then $49 for each additional order station. The difference here is going to be very, very clear in a restaurant, which is that in a restaurant, there is no way that you are going to be able to use talech, right? Because you have all the wacky split, position orders and everything like that. There is no way you're going to be able to use talech in a restaurant with the standard version. No way, right? They need all of the features that I just kind of alluded to about coursing and splitting and everything like that. So for a restaurant, the only way to use talech will be the premium version. If you're a quick serve, you walk up, you pay for everything, it's highly unlikely that you're going to be splitting a check, right? Everything can be just done with the standard. So that's in a restaurant environment. In a retail environment, the line, unfortunately, is not that clear. So what we've done is in the premium version, we've added in a whole bunch of advanced features for high volume, quick turnover restaurants. So let's say Joey's got Joey's Wine and Liquor Store. At the end of the day, he has to go through count up everything that's on the shelves, try to look for, look for all the things that are low inventory. And then once he's done that, he needs to split that out to all of his like dozen suppliers. And then when the order comes in, he's got to add all that stuff back into inventory. And what's worse about all of that is that all of that has to happen when the doors are closed, because if Joey's going up and down the aisles counting inventory, Caitlin comes right behind him and grabs something off the shelf, his inventory count is wrong. So for the premium features, what we've done is that Joey gets an email. So Joey in his setup tells us how many bottles he wants to be alerted to when that's low. It's called a minimum threshold, and what the reorder is. And so at the end of the day, Joey gets an email that says, hey, Joey, you told us to tell you when you're low on these things. You're low on this, 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 this. And then Joey just says, yep, I want to reorder that, go, 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 go. Oh, and you know what? I've actually got a gin festival next week, so I'm going to order 80 bottles of that gin, not the usual 20, right? And then because we know all of his suppliers, we can actually split up all of those items into the different suppliers. So Joey knows he can just go to the supplier webpage and he knows exactly what to order. And when that shipment comes in, Joey automatically just receives everything and is good to go. Those features alone will eliminate hours and hours and hours of, after closed hours work that Joey needs to do. Now that's what we designed.
And I'm just going to say, just when you look at these prices right here, Square is not free. Square is 2.75%, or I think even with their new register, it's 2.5% plus 10 cents. That's already expensive when you start actually, when you start dealing with really good, sophisticated full service restaurants and QSR groups. The other piece of it is all of these features, these more sophisticated features, you do have to pay more for those when it comes to Square. They do have loyalty fees. They do have customer data fees, a bunch of different stuff that you do have to pay for. So don't let your merchant tell you, oh, it's free with Square, and do a cost comparison for them, and this will blow it out of the water. And I think just from in an agnostic standpoint, when you're selling against Clover, you don't have to go just the first data with talech. It is agnostic to other processors, so you guys can just sell to whoever you want, and you can sell on your own processing, and that's going to be again just a huge game changer for you. Really excited to obviously get this moving.
Cool. And then basically, I guess on retailer, so I guess the line for me is not very clear because we built all these advanced features for high volume places. But when we started exposing these features to a simple boutique that has 300 items and everything like that, the minute we told them we could automate the inventory take, the alerts and everything like that, they were like, you know what? I want to sign up for that. I want to do that as well. So unfortunately, I can't tell you very clearly who there's no slam dunk on the retail side, but basically, the pitch is, hey, do you want talech to do all that stuff for you, right? If the answer is yes, go ahead and sign up for premium. But to be clear, if you're a smaller retailer, you could easily get away with just using talech standard. And then finally, we also have that introduction, the introductory. It's intended for just get up and go kind of restaurant, or it's not a restaurant, a quick serve or a retailer, and that's starting at $49 a month. And as you can see, it's got a couple of limitations. And it's not so much feature rise that people are going to run into. It's going to be the fact that, hey, once you have a whole bunch of products, if you're a successful enough quick serve that you need a whole bunch of employees, you'll start running into that as well.
Well, Gerald, thank you so much for your time today. I really do appreciate it. When you pass back the presenter role, right, I'm going to show the team real fast. Guys, if you go to our sales hub, just scroll down. Where are we? Click on talech. It's going to take you to their sales hub with more marketing material and information. You can schedule a demo, submit a lead, however you want to, work out your deal with talech. But this is a no-brainer. So really excited to have this as a feature for our channel. And Gerald, thank you so much for your time today. Really do appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
All right, so let me just back up for a second. I'm going to go right back to the presentation. And we are going to go over for the next about 10 minutes, just go over the third-party apps, do a refresh, and then you guys can obviously chat in your questions, and we'll, feel free to email me, and I can always get you in touch with Gerald as well if you want to learn more about the talech product. So let's go over some of these business applications. I know that some of you are familiar with them, but there's a lot that obviously has hit the market. So I don't want to, again, we're going to record this. We're going to send out the file, so I will have everything on here. So I might be going through some of them fast, and some of them, the way you'll see them on your screen might be a little small, but print your own logo. So basically, as you check out the customer on the Poynt terminal, you can email the receipt, and it'll have your logo and links back to social media. But you can also, if they're really focused on brand awareness, you can actually print that logo on the printed receipt. So just a really nice feature for those merchants who are that do value brand awareness and really need to have their logo be taken home with them as they on their receipts. There is a kitchen display app. So this is actually pretty easy to use. All you need is a monitor that connects to a web address. It's $6.99 a month, and it's great for QSR, behind the counter, cafes. But you can have a kitchen display application, which is going to be super helpful for any of those merchants that need, kind of like in the Panera world where they're going to order and then they have to see, the timing of that ticket, what stage it's at, how long it's been in the queue before they actually release it to the customer. So definitely a great feature that a lot of chains have been using that are using Poynt. There's a new POS integration we talked about before, and I'll go over eThor, the other one, here in a second. But Keikel has built an integration with Micros, MicroSymphony, PosiTouch, Dinerware. So basically, what this is it's an integration where if they're using a legacy POS already and they don't want to leave, if they're not willing to buy something like talech, there is an integration that you can basically pay for, which the Poynt terminal can be used as the pay-the-table solution, the EMV pay-the-table solution. Why is this relevant? Because legacy products cost a lot of money to become EMV compliant. We're talking thousands of dollars. So you can kind of go in there and be a hero. Again, just notice that I'm putting contact information on all of these. Bar Pro is really good for a bar. It's really just a drink recipe dictionary. So if you do own a bar and you want just a really neat, quick feature to look at on the Poynt terminal, just pick up a bunch of different drink recipes. That might be something that's relevant, obviously, in a more populated area where a variety of drinks are being sold, rather than a sports bar like I used to work at, where it's literally just Coors Light. A lot of these bartenders are going to have the ability to get all different types of martinis, all different types of drinks using the Bar Pro application. We always talk about how Poynt has a video camera embedded a camera embedded in the device in two different areas for barcode scanning. So, a lot of the questions we get is who does those barcodes, right? Who creates those barcodes for my retail items? And this is what Easy Labels will do for you. So you can reach out to their team and they'll actually build better inventory reports, make it easier to check out because they can actually build those barcodes and associate it with the items in your catalog or register on the Poynt terminal. eHopper is another POS application that we all know of. It doesn't have all the functionality that talech might have from a full service restaurant standpoint, but it does have a cash discounting software included, which is pretty neat for a lot of us, a lot of you who are selling the cash discounting feature. And then really good POS application for somebody who has more than 40,000 items and really looking for a little bit more inventory management. I do have some contact information there. Less expensive than the talech, but talech, again, as we saw, is a little bit more designed for that order online, takeout, dine-in, delivery service. This is maybe just for someone who needs a good POS, a really good solid POS, but doesn't need all the features. List Builder. A lot of merchants today use MailChimp or Constant Contact. Those are two of the most, I'd say, popular email marketing platforms. So this is just an easy way that every time your customers check out, they add their email address. This automatically populates that email into your marketing platform. Also, just a great way to build your list at $9.99 a month, and really easy integrations that obviously drive a lot of value. Appetizer is a great order ahead, and it's a white labeled kind of, you can actually build a mobile application for your merchant. So basically, instead of you going and getting engineers to build a mobile application for your restaurant, they'll build you a white labeled version. You can do some order ahead capabilities, and then they also have kind of notifications. If you've ordered ahead, your order's ready. A bunch of fun things that obviously can drive brand awareness. But if you don't want to pay for the white labeled application, you can just have your customers download the Appetizer app and just order ahead. You can put your restaurant cafe on there. So that's a really neat feature that obviously a lot of prominent brands are really excited to have. And we just actually helped another multi-location chain get started with Appetizer. It's definitely a no-brainer for those guys who are just trying to cut the line and not have such a if they have the line out the door, this is the great opportunity for them. Homebase is another no-brainer. If your merchant has more than 5 employees, this is a total labor management tool. employee scheduling, clock in, clock out, time management, takes a picture of you. It does a lot of great things, like when you're clocking in, clocking out, it's going to actually track your, the times that it's going to give your manager a report. It's going to give your employees the ability to see their schedule, and then the manager the ability to make an easy schedule, push notifications to employees when they're late or when their shift's about to begin. A lot of great reporting on just like tips per employee when they actually clock into the terminal. All these different things are going to be relevant for your merchant. But I love the team messaging. So if I'm working at the bar and I know that I have to work Saturday night, instead of me having to text other employees or text someone at the restaurant to look at the schedule for me, I can just go online, look at the schedule, or I can ask someone within the platform, hey, do you mind taking my Saturday shift? All of it is pretty intuitive and automatic. It is available in Spanish as well. There's 3 different platforms. There's a free version, and then there's these basically alerts and more notifications, a little bit more seeing where somebody is when they're late or taking a break. All of these features are going to cost a little bit more, but there is a great free version that, again, is a no-brainer for customers with 5 or more employees. So we talked about the legacy integrations. Ethor is a really pretty strong product that we've been working with pretty heavily. Micros, Aloha, and Dinerware. So again, if they don't want to upgrade to the legacy EMV compliance, they can basically use the Poynt terminal as the pay-to-table solution, and our team will help with the implementation, the network setup. Actually, Boomtown is the outsource support team here, so we'll do everything we can to make sure your merchant is set up quickly. And then their team is also available to help out and sell. I actually introduced Byron from their team to merchants all the time and sales reps who are just trying to close this deal. So you, as the sales reps, you just start the conversation. You don't actually have to close it, right? Feel free to put the confidence in us to get the deal closed. Here's some pricing for you. This might look expensive, but if you know the legacy world, this is nothing compared to what an EMV compliance upgrade would be. And then I put Byron's information here at the bottom, so you can reach out to him. And True Rating, the one that we talked about last week, which is kind of another no-brainer app. It's free for the first location. So basically, when the customer's checking out, it's going to ask them, how is their experience? It's just really good for picking up trends and picking up, and adding a few more questions to figure out how rather than just relying on Yelp or other platforms where customers just come in typically angry, right? They don't go on Yelp and they've had a good day very, very often, but just kind of getting trends on what's happening in your store environment and what the overall rating is for your service. It's all available online too. So once it's interacting with the Poynt terminal, you're going to have everything available at your fingertips. So definitely a no-brainer application, and why I'm kind of going over a little bit more in depth on these slides. But here's some contact information if you want to get in touch with their group. Factor 4 has been our prominent gift card solution on the Poynt terminal. They have one great feature where they'll take existing gift cards from another platform and convert them over. They'll customize the gift cards, a lot of great things that they'll do to obviously make it a good experience for your merchant. So, definitely reach out if you have any questions about the gift card. But gift card is obviously a no-brainer for merchants in this world. And then there is My Rewards, which just came out. What I like about My Rewards compared to the other loyalty programs is they do have a freemium version to kind of try out for your first 50 members, and then you can see as the as it scales up. But they have text messaging campaigns, email campaigns. They're very involved, right? So they're going to show you customer metrics and how your team is doing, and then overall, show you how to use these email marketing platforms and just messaging platforms in general. So I love that they have free consulting as well. So anything that allows you to try it out for free is I'm a fan of, right? Because I want to try it out, see if I like it, see if I like just the interface, how I'm communicating with my customers, and then I can always upgrade if it's a good experience for me, and I'm obviously creating an ROI with my customers. Customer Connect is built by the same team who built Keikel integration. So I believe that with the Keikel integration, they have the loyalty embedded in there, but same idea, full platform, right? I want to collect customer emails, customer data, and then I want to use that strategically to drive customers back into my location. So not just a feature, but really a full-on platform. we had we had a little trouble with this for some bugs that we cleaned up, but basically all of your merchants for free get the Connect application built by Boomtown. We can white label this for you, so when they use the Connect app, they can get 24/7 chat and video right through the Poynt terminal. So let me know if you have any questions on that. Your merchants can also always text 22666. They can just text their name or help, and our team is available 24/7 to chat with them. So just another great opportunity to receive instant support without having to dial 800 numbers or go look for the right queue. Devo sales tax is if your merchant is someone who probably in the more like the QSR space, doing a lot of transactions per day. There's actually some really crazy sales tax regulations. So this is more of a service than it is a feature. These guys integrate with Poynt, but they're able to help you with your accounting and help you with your sales tax. So I know that some groups are pretty attracted to this type of service, especially as it gets complicated for new businesses that have never done really sales tax or are selling across different verticals, different geographies as well. And then OrderMax is a Facebook bot really that's enabled into the messaging, and it helps you order from Facebook. So they kind of built this integration, kind of unique. I haven't tried this much yet, but it was one of the first applications built on Poynt, and available to you guys today if you want to check out more. Everything is in the Sales Hub, and then I put a few more one-pagers from like List Builder and other products I already went over. But any questions, guys, feel free to reach out. I can get you in touch with Gerald. Again, real fast, that invoicing feature, we need beta merchants and pilot merchants, so feel free to send those guys over. They're going to get first access to a lot of new features like pre-authorization, customer tabs, subscription. So reach out to me, and then look forward to having the same exact webinar at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Thanks so much for your time today, guys. Really do appreciate it, and have a good one.